First things first, I know the title of this video is going to throw some of you off, especially those of you that know me. And a side note from the future, if you don't know me, my name is Jordan Smith. I'm a sophomore at the University of Arkansas. I'm an English literature major and a triple minor in theater, history, and gender studies. And I have the Honors College Fellowship as well as the Arkansas Distinguished Governor's Scholarship, which adds up to a full ride. I've never done a scripted video before, as you can probably tell by a lot of my other videos. But this is a conversation I've found myself having with lots of people in my life since I first had the thought. I'm an English major, and I really believe in saying the words that you mean. So I've been trying to be really intentional with my words for the past couple of years. For example, instead of saying, "You're so talented," to a makeup artist or an actor or a singer, I say, "You're so skilled," because skilled acknowledges all of the work that they've put in, whereas talented just makes it seem innate. This is where deserve comes in. I do not deserve my scholarships. According to Merriam-Webster, deserve is defined as to be worthy of. It continues and explains when to use the word. And deserve is used when a person should rightly receive something good or bad because of his or her actions or character. To put it in my words, deserve means a person should, in a perfect world, receive a reward or punishment because of their decisions, actions, and moral character. Some synonyms are to be worthy of, to be entitled to have a right to, and to have a claim. I do not have my scholarships because I'm a harder worker than anyone else, or because I'm inherently smarter, or because I'm so talented. I have my scholarships because of a combination of privilege and luck. I had parents to read to me and encourage me to read on my own before I was even in kindergarten. That fostered my love of reading, which got me the ACT score I needed to even apply for my scholarships. But I don't deserve that shot any more than the kid whose parents worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table, or the kid whose parents didn't make the effort. They're not less deserving, they're just less privileged. I went to a school with a speech and debate team. It was the only one in my half of the state. Kids who went to school 2 miles away from me didn't even have that opportunity. And speech is what prepared me for all of the interviews. And aside from the technical skills, speech and debate also added a lot to my resume. I earned titles competing in it. I spent hours practicing and cutting my pieces and traveling to tournaments. But that's once again an example of privilege. There are kids willing to work as hard as I did, but who had to work a job to keep their sibling fed so they couldn't practice as much as I could, or who couldn't afford to take off work for the whole weekend to go compete, and they are not any less deserving than I am. Yeah, I had a job, and I paid for any extras I wanted, and I paid for my gas money, but my parents never would have made me choose between putting food on the table or getting to go compete. I was privileged like that. More things on my resume. The National Honor Society and Beta Club. Both have dues and both have t-shirt fees, at my school at least, and the t-shirts were, at my school at least, used for completely nothing, so that was a completely useless cost. I know more than one person who dropped out of Beta Club or NHS because of the t-shirt fees, because they did not have the $10 or $15 per club to buy these t-shirts we never even use. That's privilege and gatekeeping. I know people who had to drop because of the mandatory volunteer hours. We would have 1 service project per semester, and when we were voting on what day to put it on, there would always be one group of kids who would say, "I have to work on Sunday, please put it on Saturday." And another group of kids who didn't want to give up their Saturday and who did not have jobs would go, "No, let's put it on Sunday." And then they would outvote the kids with jobs. So how is that fair? How is that supposed to work? The service project is mandatory, but they have work. What are they supposed to do? On top of that, my school required a total of 15 volunteer hours per semester aside from the service project, and that's in total for both clubs. That's just not possible for some people. Putting those clubs on my resume was privilege. Okay, I'm not gonna go over everything. Just take the same logic, the fact that having the time, the opportunity, and the money to work hard is a privilege, and apply it to everything on my resume. Paid to take my concurrent credit course at UAM. I had the time to practice my flute when I was younger and to practice flag lines, so that led to awards and coaching. I could afford a planner, outfits for competitions, the time to prepare for interviews. I am not innately any more hardworking than a kid who had to prioritize other things. I just hit the right combination of privileges. Not that I'm not disadvantaged in any way. I'm a woman in academia. It just gets harder as you go along, believe it or not, even still today. I am from Southeast Arkansas, and I was one of 2 people being interviewed from my part of the state. All the people around me from Fayetteville High or Bentonville High or Tulsa or Fort Smith or anywhere nearby, they were talking amongst themselves and they knew each other. And I knew one person out of dozens and dozens of people interviewing from speech and debate, which, as I previously mentioned, I had the only speech and debate team in my part of the state. They were talking about how they had 11 AP credits, and I was thinking my school doesn't even offer that many AP classes. They were talking about how their entire high school experience basically prepped them for the UARC fellowship interview process, and it certainly seemed to be true given how many people were there from their high school. I felt way out of my league. The disparity in educational equality across the state was apparent. But when I walked into that interview with just enough privilege to get me there, had enough luck to seal the deal. I was lucky the 3 people in my room were interested in all my talk about educational inequality. I was privileged to be white and thus to walk in and not have to worry about if they were going to discriminate against me based on my skin color. I was lucky there were women on my panel. I was lucky they happened to like me. If it had been a combination of any other 3 people, it might not have happened. They might not have chosen me. Basically what I'm saying is no one's worth should be determined by the scholarship amount next to their name. But also, if a broken system benefits you, you still have a responsibility to critique it. I do everything I can to help people with scholarships. Proofreading essays and giving advice, sending links to opportunities. One of my jobs is even to be a mentor for people from parts of the state like mine, because we are statistically more likely to drop out within our first year. At the end of the day, I couldn't fall asleep at night if I didn't know. I was doing everything that I could to make the playing field a little more even. And this video is another way I'm doing it. I've been having this conversation for over a year now, but never publicly spoken about it. But I'm privileged enough to get to self-quarantine during this coronavirus thing, and so I thought I would sit down and gather my thoughts. Step back and look at your privileges. Your skin color, your gender, your opportunities, your class, your education, your ability, your health, and then think about how you can help others. And remember to thank all the Black feminists who pioneered this kind of conversation on intersectionality, because otherwise I wouldn't have even been able to phrase these thoughts. Anyway, nothing's ever as simple as it seems. I am certainly incredibly grateful for the opportunities I've been given, but I do my very best not to waste them every day, because it would be such a slap in the face to people who wanted it just as badly as I did, but who didn't have the same chances. Anyway, thanks for checking up on me, and I hope the title of this video didn't scare you too bad. Wash your hands, stay inside, and as always, best wishes.